Good afternoon. I am attorney Alfred H. Campagnano, an associate of Aranas, Cruz, Araneta, Parker, and Faustino law offices. It is a full-service firm mainly servicing individual and corporate clients with all of their legal concerns. As one of its projects, the firm is currently partnered with the Daily Tribune to have a column entitled Practical Law. And on July 3 this year, I wrote an article entitled Teleconferencing, the corporate world's new normal. In the said article, I discussed SEC Memorandum Circular Number 6, Series of 2020, or MC6 for short, wherein the SEC now allows directors or stockholders of our corporation to meet via remote communication whether their bylaws says so or not. With me today for this short discussion is the firm's lead practitioner in corporate practice and servicing as corporate secretary for most of our corporate clients, Attorney Daisy L. Park. Together with her today is the firm's head partner in our Bacolod branch, Attorney Cara Amy Quevedo. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Alfred, hi. Thank you for inviting me.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me here.
Just to start off, what prompted you to write about this article?
What prompted me to write about this article is that I think it's very timely. MC6 aims to allow corporations to meet via remote communication. And as I read through the news left and right, I noticed that a lot of businesses are closing down, or at least stopping its operation, whether permanently or temporarily. And I think a lot of these businesses would have easily strategized or positioned themselves amidst this pandemic, were they able to meet. So I think it's not too late for corporations to do this, to at least plan ahead in connection to this pandemic.
Yeah, actually, if you look at it, under the Corporation Code that was enacted in 1981, there was no such thing as attending meetings through remote communication. No? So we didn't have internet, cell phone. No? So in February of 2019, the revised Corporation Code was enacted, and it basically adopted a previous SEC memo circular allowing board members or trustees to attend meetings through remote communication. No? Unfortunately, it only allowed stockholders or members to attend meetings through remote communication if it is allowed in their bylaws. So, nagkaroon ng gap. It's a good thing that the MC number 6 series of 2020 was able to address that gap.
Yes, actually, tama si Attorney Daisy, no? The new Corpo Code, which was approved last year, February 2019, if I'm not mistaken, already addressed meetings and quotation through virtual communication. Yun nga lang, may gap. However, this was not even discussed during the rollout. These new provisions only came about when we were faced with the pandemic.
Yes, Attorney Q. A lot of people weren't really prepared for this pandemic. Now, I recall in my article, I wrote how MC6 serves as a guideline to conduct its meetings via remote communication. The new feature here is simply the introduction of the technology of remote communication. Other than that, meetings should go as they should. You should send out notices, the agenda, and the prescribed period as provided for in your bylaws. Or if your bylaws are silent, then those periods under the revised Corporation Code. Now, I recall, Attorney Q, that in one of your annual meetings of one of your corporate clients actually was able to use MC6. And I think this is a good thing.
That's correct, Alfred. Actually, of the most interesting and I think the most useful section in MC6 is actually section 13, which talks about internal procedures. MC6 encourages corporations to make their own internal procedure. So I had a client na ang layo-layo ng office nila. Yung principal piece of business is in a far-flung hacienda. The members are actually more than 200, and it was difficult to hold a meeting, the annual general meeting, that you are supposed to observe social distancing and other protocols. But using Section 13, we were able to hold a meeting using a drone, putting up large projection screens, and even putting up a boom speaker so that everybody could hear. Nung votation, yung drone was flying over the air to take a record of all the proceedings. So this is actually a practical application of MC6. But again, there are challenges, Alfred. Again, and I think we should talk about the challenges.
For me, the biggest challenge really is the internet connection, no? Yung means of communication, because if you want to do it via, let's say, video conferencing or teleconferencing, but the internet connection is very poor, it's very difficult really to attend meetings through remote communication. Yun yung nakikita kong challenge. But this is really the way to go. And I think moving forward, this will really facilitate the holding of meetings. No?
Yes, ma'am, I agree that remote communications really is the future of corporate meetings. I want to emphasize that the SEC recognizes that corporations are in a better position to assess for themselves how to conduct this teleconferencing. And in the drafting of these internal procedures, one can be as innovative as they want to be, only being mindful that all attendees must be able to fully participate in order to be legitimate. And in the process, corporate secretaries are now more important more than ever, as they ensure the accuracy of the meetings, the authenticity of the votes, and now, most importantly, they ensure that all attendees to these meetings remain connected throughout the meetings. And absent at least one of these, may even lead to an intra-corporate dispute, and no one wants that.
That's correct, Alfred. Those are some of the challenges. But apart from the challenges, for us, it really forced us to revisit our old bylaws. And upon checking our bylaws, we saw that most of the provisions there are not even responsive to the call of the times. So there was a need for us to amend the bylaws in order to meet the new normal.
Yes, Attorney Q. It's a good thing that you mentioned that some corporate bylaws are already becoming outdated or obsolete. And this is especially true for corporations whose bylaws do not allow for remote communications. In fact, MC6 is provisional to them. And once this pandemic is over, then they are basically waiving the conveniences that makes teleconferencing very appealing. Wherever you are and whenever you want, you can actually meet with your fellow directors or stockholders to discuss corporate plans. And a more permanent solution to this is to, in fact, amend your bylaws to include teleconferencing as a valid mode of corporate meetings. And for corporations who want to try teleconferencing, it really is simple. It's a matter of going over MC6 and looking at what fits the needs of your corporation. Nevertheless, I urge you to consult your legal department or your legal counsel or any legal expert on this matter to ensure that your corporation is compliant with the revised corporation code, your corporate bylaws, and MC6 in order to avoid any problems in the future. At the end of the day, through these meetings, corporation will be able to steer clear and overcome obstacles and challenges brought about by this pandemic. And with the passage of MC6, then this pandemic is no longer an excuse for your meetings to be postponed. Thank you and have a good day.